is your August 24 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading, and this is Romy. So thank you so much for joining me on my channel. We're going to open up this month with the energy of the Six of Cups. We have a Mercury retrograde. You know, oftentimes we need to look back in order to help us make sense of things, to find context, to remember why we made certain decisions and choices, and all of these things help us to then take that powerful leap forward. And that's the case, I think, as we move into the beginning of the month. Mercury stations retrograde in Virgo on the 4th, which is the same day as the new moon in Leo comes. And I think there's a reset moment for you. You're remembering why you want what you want. You're thinking about why you're doing what you're doing, and that matters. You know, the word I would give you for this month ahead is intention. The intentionality is everything, because the energy that you're sending out and where it's coming from within you is making a difference as to what your experience is going to be, particularly through the month of August. Now, there is something from the past that's going to be incredibly valuable for you to either reflect upon or to go through again or to connect with, okay? Don't plant the seeds and then dig them up is the phrase that's coming through. You might find through the course of August that you're getting clearer about your desires, and there's a sense of urgency or a real motivation to see the progress, start to make something happen. And at times we can feel a bit thwarted by delays, by blocks, by challenges and conflicts that arise. None of them are going to prevent you from getting to where you need to be, but at times your enthusiasm may fluctuate. That doesn't stop the consistency of you showing up, and that's the thing that pays off and brings an accumulation of results through for you. This is about who you're trying to become in the future, and it's about remembering that regardless of what stands in your way, oftentimes these experiences can be the very thing that helps, clarify what we don't want, and in some instances get us more focused and become more determined. And I see that for you through this month of August. You're going to want to do it your way, but I think it's going to be valuable to listen to what other people have to say, perhaps their experience of something similar, or perhaps the highlight of a blind spot that you've got in regards to a situation or regarding a person perhaps. This is a time, I think, through August where instead of walking away or withdrawing, there's almost an invitation to, double down your effort in regards to something, but you might have to look at not a completely different solution, but, just start to consider or be a bit more adaptable or flexible as to how this can work, or when, to take certain steps and actions. And even if something comes out of your alignment, i.e. you had a plan of like, I'm going to do ABC, and the universe all of a sudden sort of comes along and, things conspire to mean that you have to put a focus somewhere else temporarily, that's okay. This Ace of Pentacles, it's fresh new energy that's arriving, and it wants to be recognized, and we want to do something with it. And so there's sort of an urgency, I think, in that sense. And you might feel a bit confused, a bit split as to, I thought I was supposed to be over here, or this is where my focus was supposed to be. Now I'm being pulled off in this direction. But I'm being shown with that Ace of Pentacles, it's like we need to get that seed planted now. And maybe that won't make complete sense to you in the month of August, but over the coming weeks and months, it absolutely will, okay? Now, as you approach that 8-8 portal and you're working with that new moon Leo energy, revisit the big visions that you have for yourself. So much has changed, and you really owe it to yourself to check back in, because there are undoubtedly going to be things that, maybe you want some adjustments and tweaks. Maybe you don't quite want something as much as you once did, or maybe there are new things that now really want to be acknowledged. And we've got to think about how that fits into the bigger picture for you, okay? It also invites you to ensure that you're spending time with the people who can help foster some of the ways in which you see life, you see the visions that you hold for things that matter to you. It's really easy to spend too much time in the presence of people who have such a different perspective or a very different energy and become more and more influenced by them. And I think there's something very important about finding people that speak your language, because they will spur you on, they will motivate and inspire you at just the right time. And again, that's all about your own self-belief and knowing that you can actually make this happen. And August is a really powerful time for that, even though we feel that some of the external kind of nuisance energies can be a little bit frustrating in terms of how they're getting in the way. So everything points and directs us towards having an inner dialogue. We are the ones that know best what is right for us in this next step. This is a new chapter, and your Six of Swords says, you know, you've got clarity here. You know, there's something mentally going on. And remember, when Mercury is retrograde, a lot of communication with others can get sort of lost in translation, and it's often more helpful to look at non-verbal communication with people. But when we have the conversations with ourselves, we can start to see things revealed in a much clearer way. And what it's showing me is that you are ready to sort of move on or progress to the next stage of something. And even if you have absolutely no idea how to make that happen, there is this spark, there's this intention, there's this desire that you have to follow. It's almost like, you know, you just feel pulled by the universe coming through. And it would be really easy to overcomplicate things in August, and I think a lot of people around you will be trying to overcomplicate things. Don't you be one of them. Look for how you can make this easier on yourself, and that may mean not necessarily sharing everything. It might mean just focusing on one thing specifically for this month ahead. It might mean not getting ahead of yourself and starting to look at all the reasons why something can't work. Whatever it is, just don't, if you find yourself going into that kind of way of thinking, that's also through a retrograde energy not going to be super helpful. Now, we have Juno, the asteroid goddess, stationing into Libra on the 9th, right after that Lion's Gate. And, you know, she's the natural ruler of this sign, and there's something karmically, from a justice perspective, coming to light. It wants to be rectified. It wants to be dealt with. There's perhaps important negotiations, discussions, conversations happening contractually in agreements through your partnerships and relationships. And even though we might have to revisit after the 28th when Mercury is direct, there's definitely some green lights and some really illuminating, clarifying situations, and something that you feel like, yes, this is what I'd expected, or this is what I think is the fairest or the most just outcome in regards to something. The first part of the month is very powerful, and you're going to want to take advantage of that, especially in Leo energy. You know, that fellow fire sign is going to be much more conducive to you feeling that you are on the right track. As we arrive at mid-month, we've got Mars conjunct Jupiter, a really powerful aspect taking place. Mercury is then moving into Leo through its retrograde cycle. You've got the Hanged Man coming in here. What ends up happening is we get very strong desires in terms of what we're trying to achieve, what we want to do, and yet we start to feel like something is out of kilter. What the universe is effectively asking of us at this time is, like, we need to see something in a new context. We need to change our perception. We need to evaluate it differently. And that might translate from a physical perspective of something being delayed or the timing not quite kind of coming through. That could absolutely lead to some frustration on your part. Don't allow it to. Actually look at this as, I'm being looked after here. If something doesn't come together in the way that I expected, it doesn't mean it's not going to. It just means that there's more information. There's a missing piece of the puzzle, and try to look at it like that. Try to see it as a bit of a game. What is this missing piece that I need to identify? That's the kind of journeying and reflection that's going to help you release yourself from feeling any kind of inner conflict or imprisonment or discord that just gets your energy all bound up in the wrong way. Now we've got some squares coming in as we build up to the full moon in Aquarius on the 19th. So 15th Mars squaring Saturn, 18th Mercury squaring Uranus, Jupiter squaring Saturn. We want the freedom, we're trying to break free, and yet we feel this sense of duty and responsibility. Things happening unexpectedly that are also feeling a bit challenging. But you know, it's kind of like the pressure that brings about the diamond. You know, that's your silver lining. If you feel in any way sort of backed into a corner, or that you're in a position where you're just literally unable to make a decision or to take a particular step forward, there's something deeply valuable in that. Four of Cups comes in and almost invites a sort of pause. These are kind of, it's like a sacred pause happens like mid-month. Time slows down. It's a very peculiar experience, actually, the way it's coming through energetically for me. So you might have a really, I don't know, it might be just difficult to articulate, a really strong sense of deja vu, or just something really strange occurring, a sequence of events that, you know, just seem to sort of throw everything out of balance a little bit. But the thing to bear in mind is that as you approach that full moon in Aquarius, that pressure, that intensity, that triggering that you might be feeling from different directions actually leads you to be able to find a breakthrough, a kind of eureka moment. And you can't force it. And if you're feeling into a Four of Cups, which can sometimes bring some apathy, some ambivalence, you know, just that sort of, I can't get started, I can't get going, I feel like somebody just took the wind out of my sails and I was going at 100 miles an hour, what just happened? You are going to get that moment with the full moon where something gets revealed and clarified for you. And believe me, it's something that you haven't even considered, or there's something brand new that seems to want to show up in your reality that's going to be like a total aha moment. And that's super powerful, because then what you do with that is directly connected again to the intention that you're holding towards some of the desires that you're trying to make happen for yourself. Okay? You're very determined. And as some things come back around from the past and you're trying to figure out if they still hold value, you're very determined not to make the same mistakes. You're very determined to show yourself that you've changed. And that's all well and good. Sometimes, however, we do need to just experience something again. That can be really frustrating, right? You're like, why? But it almost helps to show you. It almost helps to kind of create a particular set of dynamics where perhaps you then get to see something that you'd missed previously. And the only way you're going to do that is if you sort of go back round the circle again with something. So don't be beating yourself up, especially with a lot of this Virgo energy gathering through the month of August. You know, Venus shifts into sign on the 4th. And of course, we'll have the sun coming into the sign 22nd, Vesta, asteroid goddess, on the 24th. It would be easy to start getting a little bit judgmental about, you know, I did this wrong, I should have done it a different way, obviously I've not got this, or I've not understood this. Please don't go down that route. You know, as I said, there's a lot of frustration sort of gathering in August because you can't see the wood for the trees, you know, on something. And, you know, you will. And actually, by the time we get even toward right at the end of August, there's like a break in the clouds. And when that happens, you just have such a sort of sense of relief, because it's nowhere near as bad as what you expect or anticipate something to be. And also, it might make sense as to regard someone's behavior towards you, or, you know, why you were kind of highlighted, or why the light shone on you in a specific way that perhaps you weren't expecting or necessarily wanting. The sun also indicates that there's a huge amount of growth and opportunity for something to blossom through the month. And I really like this. You know, we have a lot of pathways that are running side by side that are sort of moving you mutably in and out of different emotional states. But what is clear and what is showing up really powerfully is that the sun is bringing an opportunity for you to feel more joy, for you to tap into a more optimistic outlook about what the future holds for you. And actually, from a creative perspective, that the inspiration starts flowing again in a way that helps you, particularly if you felt a bit blocked as a result of Four of Cups and the Hanged Man. So this is the value of what it is that we go through. We couldn't have arrived at that burst of energy that the sun's about to bring through for you without having navigated that particular rite of passage. I think there's something here as well just about taking care and making sure you're not neglecting something, notably yourself, but perhaps, you know, through the month it would be easy to just say, I don't have time or energy for this. Even just shining a light temporarily on something to see what needs to be done and putting a plan in place, if it's not something that can be actioned through the month of August, is also going to help you, but also help others around you as well. So I think there's other people perhaps relying on you or needing you in that capacity as well. So pay attention. When Mercury does station direct on the 28th in Leo, there's also I don't know if it's like an apology, but certainly someone stepping forth and wanting you to understand something. And in that understanding, perhaps the air can be cleared. There's a lot more warmth, there's a lot more compassion showing up. And it helps to just sort of make something right in your world again. Okay, so hear me when I say, if there's something that feels quite fraught and tense again through the month of August in terms of a specific connection or relationship and the communication that's going on, there's definitely resolution regarding that as we come toward the end of August for you also. Okay, it's about who you're trying to become, and you know, the intention that comes forth in the month of August has a lot of power connected to it. You know, you're being elevated, you know, your vibration has the opportunity to kind of receive really important downloads, but you have to sort of plug in to receive it, to hear it, to witness it, to recognize it. You know, if you're just oblivious to how the energy is moving around you, then it's not that you're missing it, but you're not going to take away from the experience something as powerful as what is ready to be flowing into your experience. Okay, so really take the time to be intentional around that new moon and, you know, leading up and through 8/8, so that you can ensure that some of your bigger visions and how you're manifesting can be improved upon by the understanding that your guides, your team, and that people around you are going to help support you with. Okay, if you're new to the channel, my last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. You can find the link for that in the comment and description box underneath, Aries. We talk for another 30 minutes. We'll look at a personal card and also a relationship card for you as well, just to go a bit deeper for this month ahead. It enables me to show up and do the free readings. So, you know, if you're in a position to invest and to join me, I really value and appreciate you. We're just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, just see the direction we'll take that reading for you. I've got the 8 of Swords coming through, 7 of Wands. Now this month there is a beautiful Lionsgate soul journey. You can find that over on my website, romywiser.com. You'll also find my oracle deck, my book, just ways to work with me, services that I offer. So please do take the time to check that out if you're new. We've got the King of Cups coming through here and the King of Wands. King of Pentacles also, Ace of Swords. Right, this 4 of Cups, the Magician, Knight of Wands. Okay. Decks I use are always listed below. Let's have a look at Life Soul Vision. This is my own deck, Aries. Solar Plexus, stand in your light. We've got Earth Star Energy. We have the Queen of Fire. Love that for you. The Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose. We have Sacred Soul Union. We've got Equinox Energy showing up here. Okay, we're going to pull one more oracle for you for the month of August, Aries. Releasing the past, emerging, transforming, energies transmuted. Beautiful, love that for you. Okay, we will continue this in the extended. Thanks for being here. I hope you'll join me. I'll see you again next time. Take care.